If you've got crypto just sitting in a wallet, you're leaving value on the table. It's not working for you. Well, today we are going to fix that. We're going to dive into one of the most powerful tools you have in your arsenal, staking. So let's be real for a second. Are your coins just sitting there, kind of collecting digital dust? You're probably watching your balance and you're wondering if there's any way to be productive while you wait for the market to do its thing. The answer is a huge, resounding yes. And by the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly what staking is, how it works differently for major projects like Pi and Core, and this is the most important part, whether it's the right move for you and your coins. So let's dive in. Okay, so at its most basic level, staking is actually pretty simple. Think about it like this. Having cash stashed under your mattress is safe, sure, but it's not growing. Staking is kind of like putting that money into a high-yield savings account. You lock up your crypto to help support a network, and in return, that network rewards you for it. Simple as that. First thing you gotta know is the lockup period. It's just what it sounds like. It's how long your coins are tied up and unavailable while they're staked. Now, this can be for days, weeks, even months, so it's a really crucial detail to pay attention to. Next up, you'll hear the word validators. Just think of them as the really important employees of the network. They're the ones processing all the transactions and making sure everything runs smoothly. When you stake, a lot of the time, you're basically delegating your coins to a validator that you trust to do a good job. And finally, the best part, rewards. This is what you get in return for staking. But listen, and this is a really key point, it's not always more coins. Rewards can mean getting access to special features, or having more influence in the community, or other kinds of benefits. Understanding that difference is absolutely essential. So this is where things get really interesting. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Staking isn't just one size fits all. It's not. There are a few different ways it works, and knowing the difference is the key to making smart moves with your crypto. Let's break it down into 3 main categories. First, you've got reward staking. This is the classic model, like with Core DAO, where the goal is simple. You stake coins to get more coins. Then you have utility staking, which we see in the Pi network. This is where you lock up your coins to support an app or gain some influence. And finally, there's access staking, which Pi also uses, where you stake just to earn the right to get in on something exclusive, like a new project launch. All right, let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. We'll start with our first case study, Pi network, which you'll see very cleverly uses both utility times access staking. So first up is their ecosystem directory staking. This is pure utility. You lock your Pi to basically give a thumbs up to an app that you believe in, which helps boost its ranking and visibility. Now the key here is you get all your Pi back after the lockup period, but you don't earn extra coins from the network itself. You can think of it like volunteering to help out in a community garden. You do it because you want the whole garden to flourish, right? Which in the end benefits everybody, including you. And hey, this isn't just some abstract idea. We're already seeing it in action. Over 2,100 Pi has been staked by the community into just one app, called OMC. It's a perfect example of people using their coins to signal real trust and support for the developers building on the network. Now let's look at Pi's second model, access staking for their Launchpad. This is really, really innovative. So you stake your Pi to build up something called a PiPower score. That score then determines your allocation, basically how many new tokens you're allowed to buy when a new project launches. But notice that third step. You still have to use a separate amount of Pi for the actual purchase. So staking gets you in the door, but you still have to buy the ticket. And this right here shows you the payoff perfectly. So a standard user might commit 5 Pi and get, say, 10 new tokens. But a user with a really high PiPower score from staking over time, they could commit the exact same 5 Pi and get 13 tokens instead. Your long-term support literally gets you a better deal. It's brilliant. Okay, let's switch gears. Our second case study, Core DAO, is all about that classic, straightforward model, staking for rewards. Yeah, the process here is about as simple as it gets. You take your core tokens, you delegate them to a validator, and that validator uses them to help secure the whole network. In return for your trust and your delegation, you earn a cut of the daily rewards. It's passive income, plain and simple. And you know, what's so great about this is how accessible it is. You only need one core to get started, and rewards are paid out every single day. And here's the biggest perk of all. There is no lockup period. You can unstake your core instantly if you need it. I mean, that feature alone removes a ton of the anxiety that can come with locking up your assets. But Core doesn't stop there. They also have an advanced feature that is truly unique. It's called dual staking, and it lets you stake both your Bitcoin and your Core at the same time. And the way this works is just fascinating. The system actually rewards you based on the ratio of Core to Bitcoin that you stake. So the more Core you put in relative to your Bitcoin, the higher the reward tier you unlock. It really is like a premium gym membership. The more you commit to the ecosystem, the more that ecosystem gives back to you. So that brings us to the big one, the most important question. You've seen the models, you know the terms. Should you be staking your coins? If you're holding Pi, just ask yourself these 3 things. First, do you need these coins to be liquid anytime soon? If the answer is yes, don't lock them up. Second, are there any apps in the ecosystem you genuinely want to see succeed? If so, utility staking is an awesome way to show your support. And third, are you planning to get in on those Launchpad events? If that's a yes, well, it's probably time to start building up that PiPower. Now for Core, the checklist is a little different. First, can you get your hands on at least 1 Core to start? Great. Second, have you done your homework on which validator to pick? You're going to want to look for high uptime and fair commissions. And finally, if you're also a Bitcoin holder, you absolutely need to explore whether dual staking is right for you. But listen, here is the golden rule. This applies to everything in crypto, but especially to staking. Never, ever, ever stake more than you can afford to have locked up. Even with options like instant unstaking, markets move incredibly fast. You always want to keep some of your assets liquid. So let's just recap for a second. You now have a mental framework that, honestly, most people in crypto don't. You know that there isn't just staking. There is reward staking, utility staking, and access staking. Now you can look at any project and instantly understand what they're really asking you to do with your coins and, more importantly, what you're actually getting in return. This knowledge really moves you from being just a passive holder to being an active participant. Each of these models has different goals, but they all reward people who choose to engage. So the only question left to ask is, now that you know how it all works, what's been stopping you?